everybody, welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and today we're going to build something. I've already built it, we're just going to put it together. So what I needed was, since this truck is not under its own power, there's times where I have to push this thing out of the garage door, and I just push it out far enough to do the work I need to do in that area, and then I push it back in. But the rotors are all freaking rusted up and they're causing friction, and just it's real hard to push. So there's times I have to get the whole truck out, so I decided to make a tow bar. And once you get out of the garage, it starts to taper downhill. It's sort of flat up until about 10 feet, and then it starts going downhill. So that's when I need something to push it back up in here. So basically what I did was I made some parts. We got this bar, we got this, which will mount to that right there. Alright, then we have this bar that I made, and don't look at the welds too bad. They're not they're not the greatest looking welds in the world, but they'll work for what I need it to do. So I made that out of a piece of rebarb that I found, and that's some pretty hefty rebarb. And basically I just wanted to make a little tow bar that would mount right here and go to the front of my four-wheeler on another mount that I just added, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But to start off with, let's go ahead and mount this up. Anybody that's got an S10 might want to watch this. You might have to do this yourself. So the first thing we're going to do, now these here bolts are not real big, but I wanted them to be able to go through this part right here. It's one of these speed clips. So this here will mount right here and go down through those speed clips, and you can adjust it either way you want, but when it's tight it ain't going to move. So we just put a nut on the bottom of that. Now I'm just going to keep this on here at all times, that way it's easily accessible. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. Go down through the speed clip and basically use the speed clip as a washer. Because I think these are like 10mm bolts, but I'm only using a 5/16 bolt. It'll go through it. Alright, so that'll be tightened to that. Then this will get mounted to the bottom. Eventually I'm going to make one for the top. Or no, I'm not. Never mind. I kind of wanted to cover that up, but it kind of makes it too high. So we're going to put it on the bottom. So that takes 3/8 bolts. If I can hit the hole, guys. Alright, got that one. We're still gathering parts up for the S10. I've just got it sitting there waiting for me to get back on it. But I wanted to kind of make this so that I can move this thing in and out. Because at that pushing it, I've done slipped my disc 3 times in the last 3 days. One, just pulling the hose off up here, one of these water hoses that went to the heater. I went to pull it, and when it came off, it come off real quick and jerked my back and slipped the disc right in the center. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and tighten this down. And this can probably be drilled to use on any vehicle. because I made it longer, so just in case. Well, this is actually the way it came. Somebody gave that to me, or I found it or something, and it was all rusty. And I said, well, that'll make a perfect candidate for making a tow bar for this. And it don't have to be all that big and heavy. I mean, you're just moving a vehicle that's on wheels. Alright, so then this is 9/16. So we'll tighten them up as soon as I get the ratchet in the right direction. And I can 3D print a plug to put in there. Hell, I might already have a plug made for that size. Put one on the end too. That'd be a nice little tool to use. Tow hitch for in the garage. It will pivot this way and it will pivot this way. So then I made this bracket right here that goes, basically all this is another bracket that this here mounts to and your winch mounts to it. The winch mounted here, and over here is where you put your fair lead. And I had you all out of frame. And I just made it so that it used these same two bolts to bolt this and this on. And these two bolts goes down in underneath there like that on both sides. So these bolts actually held this on too. So it's this one, this one, this one, and the one on the other side. And now we'll show you what we're going to do. So then I was looking in my pen drawer and I found these two pens that works perfect for that. So basically, it's got a ball detent on it so it can't pop up out of there. Then undo your brake and then pull the four-wheeler up into it. And then that's latched with the two pins. Now, when I need to pull this thing out, I can just back up with my four-wheeler, pull it out, because you're basically on level ground. The only time that we're going to start going on that downhill side is when I go to take the bed off of this. Yes, I have decided I think I'm going to go ahead and take the bed off of this thing and redo that frame. I'm going to cut them bump stops out of it. They're unnecessary. That's why they never go bad, because they never get hit. They never bump nothing. So I'm just going to cut them out. It's just more weight I got to drag around. But I think that big old piece of 1 inch, I guess it's 1 inch. But it's kind of oval shape. It's not really round. It started out as round, but they flattened the top and the bottom or the sides or whatever, whichever way they're looking at it. And I see I missed some paint. But this here will flex with the pen because the pen's not too tight. So I think I might take this and bend it down a little bit, because this one I kind of bent upward a little bit more. So if I take and bend this one down, that will kind of straighten it. So I'll do that after I do the video. But there I can move my truck and my four-wheeler manually or power. So, but yeah, if you was working on like a F-150 or a 2500, the frame would be wider and probably wouldn't have this on it, but you can see it comes out further, so you could probably just re-drill a hole wherever you needed to put it and make it universal. But I was kind of proud of that job today. I got some paint on it, but I see I missed a spot, so I'm gonna have to put more paint on it. So, but that's my idea of how to get this mobile at least 20 feet, 15 to 20 feet. I was kicking around the idea of taking that cab off of it, but to safely remove that cab without putting dents or breaking glass in it, it's not worth it. So I'm just going to leave it where it's at and just try to crawl underneath of it, see if I can brush as much as I can get to. And I'm just going to redo the frame, the back side. It would be easier for me to cut those bump stops out with the bed off of it. Plus that gives me a chance to see what kind of shape the bed's in and what kind of shape the frame's in and fix whatever needs to be fixed. So, but this is my tow bar that you attach to your four-wheeler. Now I probably could have mounted this. I can mount this either way. I can turn it up the other way and mount it this way. But the reason I didn't do that was because then if I was downhill from somebody uphill and I'm trying to pull something or they're trying to pull me, it would be hitting that bracket and be digging into my cable. So that's a good way to break your cable and get a wire sticking out, and then when you go to frickin' hold it, you grab a hold of wire and stick that thing straight in your finger. I haven't upgraded the wire on this one. I want to put a cable on it. But that's a nice bracket. It is actually meant for a winch mount, so we know it's strong enough. So I think it worked out pretty nice. And that's reversible. You can take the short end. I don't know why I made one long and one short. That made no sense. Should have made them both that like that one right there. But anyway, that's my idea. And I'll show you firsthand how it hooks up. Move my hook there out of the way. See where I missed that paint? And it looks pretty tough, man. Anyway, there you have it, guys. How to make a tow bar to move a vehicle with a four-wheeler. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Later.